Hi, I'm Nick Shell with Family Friendly Daddy Blog. This is the YouTube channel to accompany my blog where I've talked about MyHeritage test results for my DNA. And I have been learning how to upload my raw DNA to other sites. No major competitors to MyHeritage yet, like 23andMe or Heritage.com. I haven't learned if that's even possible yet. I've tried, but I haven't had any luck. But here's another one that I have had luck with. I'm sure I'm pronouncing it wrong. HarrapaWorld. Harappa. Let's go with that. Let's go with HarrapaWorld. HarrapaWorld. Let's say that. So here's how this shows me. Now keep in mind, my whole life I've thought I was a quarter Italian because my mom's half Italian and half Mexican. The results showed back that really I was Spanish on both sides, the Mexican and the Italian side, and my Italian grandfather wasn't really Italian. Instead, he came from there, and his name was Italian, and he spoke Italian, and his family, but they weren't actually Italian, they were Spanish or Portuguese. And to make things more complicated, the videos I've done about this, about MyHeritage, people would say, well, you don't look Italian anyway. You look more Spanish, or you look like someone from Chile or something like that. So that only complicates it, or it only reinforces the results I got back from MyHeritage, that I'm not Italian. I just had ancestors that immigrated through Italy and adopted the culture and the names. So with that being said, here's the results when I uploaded that same raw DNA from MyHeritage to HarrapaWorld. Here's what it came up to be. So we have 30.96% as Mediterranean. So like 31% Mediterranean. So if you look that up, that could be a lot of things. It could be Italy. Of course, I wouldn't be that much Italian because if my mom's only half, I can only be 25 at the most. But that includes Albania, Algeria, Croatia, Cyprus, France, Greece, Italy, Lebanon, Libya, Malta, Morocco, Monaco, Montenegro, Slovenia, Spain, Syria, Turkey, Tunisia. Those are, when I Googled it, that's what it showed. So that's a third of me, but that's so vague. So I could be Spanish, I could be Italian. That backs up what I kind of already know there. It's showing up 31% Eastern European, which my DNA or MyHeritage showed that I was more like closer to 8%. It was showing more that would be the German side. So it just depends on classifications on that. It's showing 12.5% Caucasian. So I mean that could be a lot of things, but we're assuming it's going back to that vague German area. It is showing up as 11.4% Central American, which is the Aztec and Mayan, which is obvious because my grandmother was Mexican. Here's where it gets interesting: 7.04% Baylock. I Googled that and it showed it Pakistan, Iran, Afghanistan. So it's showing a higher instance of me being Middle Eastern. What else is really up? There's like 1% African. Actually, according to this, I'm more like 2% African. And it just shows different spots in Africa. And then it's like 0.25% like Asian, but it's pointing towards China as far as the way it was labeled on there. So, as I'm looking through these results, also Beringian, which is like the people that were migrated from Russia and Alaska. But that makes sense because if you were for the Mexicans or the Central American side of me, they had to come here from Russia, and I get that. But ultimately what I'm learning from this, it backs up the last one that I took, that I just did a video on right before this. Let me read that real quick. I just want to read the name of the test. What it's backing up, and what I'm talking about right here, is Eurogenes K13. Eurogenes K13 had similar findings. It suggested that if I am indeed Italian, I am also indeed much more Middle Eastern than MyHeritage gave me credit for. MyHeritage said I was only 0.8% Middle Eastern. So so far what I'm seeing, it's an either-or situation. It's either I truly am something like 20% Italian, and my grandfather wasn't full Italian. He was more like 3/4 Italian and then 1/4 Middle Eastern. that's the only way he could have been Italian, was to have also been Middle Eastern. That's what both of these new tests have shown. So I think it's fascinating, and I feel now more than ever I'm never going to really have closure or answers on this. I don't really think I'm going to. I mean, because I think at this point I'm either part Middle Eastern and Italian, or I'm just more Spanish instead of being Middle Eastern and Italian. So those are the things. And, you know, by the time you wash in the fact that I'm German and Central American, it's hard to know anyway, right? Because you could take an Italian ancestor, a Spanish one, and a Middle Eastern, and then put in some German in there. And either way, however you raise or lower certain levels, ultimately it's probably going to come out as a guy looking a lot like me. But I care what you have to say. I would love to hear your theories. Teach me more about my own ethnicity.